The Garden of Withering Souls. I had always been drawn to the old, overgrown garden behind my grandmother's house. She had warned me never to enter, calling it the Garden of Withering Souls. The stories said that the garden held the spirits of those who had ventured in and never returned, but curiosity got the better of me. One gloomy afternoon, I pushed my way through the tangled vines and entered the garden. The air was thick with an unnatural chill, and the flowers that once bloomed in vibrant colours were now shriveled and grey. It was as if life itself had been drained from this forsaken place. As I wandered deeper into the garden, I heard faint whispers carried on the wind. The voices were mournful, filled with despair. I couldn't make out the words, but they sent shivers down my spine. I approached a decaying fountain at the centre of the garden, and there I saw them apparitions of people long gone, their eyes hollow and filled with sorrow. They reached out to me, their spectral hands cold and insubstantial. I tried to flee, but the garden seemed to have a will of its own, trapping me within its twisted vines. The apparitions drew closer, their whispers growing louder and more desperate. It was as if they wanted to pull me into their world, to share in their eternal torment. I closed my eyes and screamed, willing myself to escape the garden's grasp. When I opened them, I was outside the garden, my heart pounding with terror. I ran to my grandmother, who had a grim look on her face. "You entered the Garden of Withering Souls," she said. Her voice filled with sadness. "You're marked now. You'll never escape its curse." From that day on, I felt the weight of the garden's curse. A reminder that some places held secrets too dark to be uncovered. The Haunted Rose Garden. The mansion at the edge of town had always been shrouded in mystery, its overgrown garden rumoured to be haunted. When the first inherited the property, I was determined to uncover the truth. I never could have imagined the horrors that awaited me in the rose garden. The garden had once been a place of beauty, with rows of vibrant roses stretching as far as the eye could see. But when I arrived, the roses were wilted and blackened, their thorns twisted into malevolent shapes. As I wandered among the dead roses, a chilling breeze rustled through the garden. I felt a presence, an otherworldly force that seemed to watch my every move. I tried to dismiss it as mere imagination, but it grew stronger with each passing day. One night, as I stood in the garden, I saw her, a woman with pale skin and blood-red lips. Her eyes black as night, she emerged from the shadows, her laughter like the tinkling of glass. She beckoned to me, her voice a seductive whisper. I approached her, unable to resist her enchanting beauty. She reached out, her fingers trailing over my skin, leaving a trail of ice in their wake. It was as if her touch was draining the warmth from my body. The woman leaned in close, her lips brushing against my ear. "Join me," she whispered, her breath cold as death. "Become one with the garden, and we shall be together for eternity." I tried to pull away, but her grip was like iron. She kissed me, her lips icy and unyielding, as our lips met. I felt my life force being drained away, leaving me weak and helpless. The woman released me, her eyes filled with hunger. She vanished into the darkness, leaving me to wither away in the haunted rose garden. I was trapped, a prisoner of the curse that had claimed so many before me. The mansion and the garden were now my prison. A chilling reminder that some beauty hid the darkest of secrets. The unholy garden. I had always been fascinated by the supernatural, so when I heard about the abandoned estate on the outskirts of town, I couldn't resist exploring it. The estate was overgrown and in a state of disrepair. But what drew me in was the garden rumored to be the site of dark rituals and unholy ceremonies. As I ventured into the garden, I felt an oppressive weight in the air, as if the very earth itself was tainted by the horrors that had occurred here. The flowers that once bloomed were now twisted and grotesque, their colours sickly and unnatural. I heard faint whispers, the voices of the damned, carried on the wind. They spoke of sacrifices and forbidden knowledge, of a power that should never have been unleashed. It sent shivers down my spine, but I couldn't tear myself away. In the centre of the garden stood a weathered statue of a figure that seemed both angelic and demonic. Its face contorted in agony. I couldn't look away, drawn to its eerie presence. As I approached the statue, the ground beneath me trembled, and the earth seemed to come alive. Roots erupted from the ground, winding around my legs and pulling me closer to the statue. I struggled to break free, but the roots were unyielding. The whispers grew louder, and I realized they were coming from the statue itself. It spoke of ancient curses and the hunger of the earth for blood and souls. Desperate, I reached into my pocket and pulled out a small silver amulet, a family heirloom said to ward off evil. I held it up to the statue, and it let out a deafening shriek, a sound that echoed through the garden. The roots recoiled, releasing their hold on me. I stumbled back, gasping for breath. The amulet had saved me, but the curse of the unholy garden still lingered. I fled the estate, vowing never to return. But the memory of the garden and its malevolent presence still haunts me. A chilling reminder that some places are cursed beyond imagination.